KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. We care enough. We care enough. We care enough. We care enough.
You ready?
It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Don't just take your clothes off. Take the problems off. Take the armor off. Take all the drama off. Let go your responsibilities you've been holding down. Know it's a lot on your mind, but I need your focus now. I need that. Yeah, I give you that. Yeah.
In that conversation, can you speak my body language?
Bring that body to me.
Hey, you are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, with you all Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. That's the jam right there. Is it someone's birthday? Or that's just, okay, we playing it just because we like it, just because we love it. I didn't catch it. Andy, okay, listen, Andy, I apologize. You never miss, okay? You never miss your shot. So, Andy, if I'm not on it, Andy is right there to catch me. So I appreciate that. He is absolutely right. We are in for a great conversation and a perfect song. I love the body. Bring the body to me. We're going to talk about bodies today for sure. I hope you are having a wonderful Friday. I know I am. We are still cheesing and joyous and smiling and laughing off of the news that I brought you all yesterday, which was the fact that both of my kids, my 2 daughters, have been accepted into Hampton University. So excited for them, for both of them. Congratulations, Madison and Brooklyn. Listen, I hope you're having a great Friday going into the weekend, and I know it's going to be a great one for you. I'm confident in that. I have to say, though, I took a moment to just really sit and just ponder on the fact that in just about a month or a little over a month, we will be hitting 1 year of the Raw Report. Wow. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to all of you who have been on this journey with me. And, the Raw Squad has been born from this. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with Robin Ayers and the Raw Report, for this entire year. It's been good, and we have more to come. So listen, if you want to call in at any point in time today as we're having this, I feel, really important conversation, you can do that. You can call 1-800-920-1580, and you should be, at this point, y'all, come on, I've said it enough. You should be joining us over in our YouTube. It's just a good idea. Come and join the community. Come and join the Raw Squad. You might be listening via app, our KBLA 1580 app. And if you are, you could also leave us a note, a little voice note at the open mic feature that we have on the app. Personally, I listen to those messages, and oftentimes I'm very entertained, and it's nothing to play on the radio. Y'all just want to give your input, but I like those. I like those too. So definitely keep them coming. And so I encourage you to keep doing that. So before we move into the Raw Report today, I want to give you a couple of updates. I want to send a special shout out and send my well wishes to a friend of the show, Eric Bellinger. His mother has passed. He revealed that on Instagram, on social media. Him and his wife, Lamaya Good, they obviously are showing his mother a lot of love, and I'm sure that is never going to be an easy thing. So you all hear him. He's always giving, Andy's always playing his shout out here when he came to do our interview here at the Raw Report. So I want to give him some love and definitely sending well wishes to him and his entire family on the passing of his mother. On another note, finally, Tyrese is saying something that's not causing no friction. Because, whenever Tyrese speaks, it's for the past year or even more, it's always been controversial. But he's revealing some good news, at least to me. TGT, the group that he is in with Tank and Genuine, he says they are working together again. I am so excited to hear that. Hands down, and Andy, I don't know if you feel the same way, because I respect your music savvy, okay? Hands down, TGT is one of the best R&B groups, modern day groups that there is that we've heard. Would you agree?
I mean, what other groups do we have for them to compare to?
Don't come on now. Don't do us like that.
I mean,
All right,
I'm just
okay,
being honest.
let's just talk about R&B.
I mean, it's good for R&B.
Okay.
Yeah, but just...
You're right. I mean, there are not a lot of groups. You're right about that.
Except for that one group that you played one time for, Who's Got Next.
What was
youngsters.
the group?
I forgot.
They were young, but they were good.
They were good,
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, there are not a ton of R&B groups, but I'm trying to give them some love, and you over here like, well, prove it more.
I mean, look. Tank, Genuine, Tyrese, we already know it's enough said. But
yes.
With regards to the R&B group,
yeah,
I guess I'm just a little bit disappointed because there's not many of them.
That's
true.
And
I remember in the 90s it was groups galore.
That is true.
I mean, hey, if this is gonna create like a domino effect of groups coming up, if they're gonna inspire some folks, then that'll be good.
Then you'll be for it. Okay. Well, I'm personally really looking forward to this album if they do come out with an album or whatever the project is. Their first album was called Three Kings. And honestly, from beginning to end, one of the best albums that I've heard in terms of R&B. Legitimately. And if you want to go song for song, I'm down. Okay, I'm gonna create time and we just gonna do it. Andy, I think Andy is not really feeling me on this, but it's okay. I know music. Okay, you know music too. I'm not gonna take that away from you. But anyway, all right, let me go ahead and move on. This is enough about TGT. But yeah, they are coming back. Rhythm and Flow, which is a great show, that's actually coming back as well. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. It was one of the great shows that brought us D-Smoke on the bigger platform. If you're familiar with rapper D-Smoke, Inglewood's own D-Smoke, he won in that first season. Well, it's coming back with Lotto, DJ Khaled, and Ludacris. I will be watching. It was on Netflix, and that's a show that I felt was really, really good. And you never know, they're probably gonna discover someone else that will become a new fan favorite. Okay. Also, side note, a man, I don't know if you've all seen, but this is on social media, of course, a man who revealed that he was living in his storage unit to save money. He put it on TikTok and he got kicked out, y'all. They found out because he put it on TikTok. Not everything is meant for social media, especially something like that. He showed all the ways that he was saving money by living in his storage unit. I thought it was pretty smart, but the man has gotten kicked out now with his girlfriend. So sorry to hear that, but I'm sure he'll work something else out. Before we get into the Raw Report, the question of the day, Lil Wayne, he was sitting courtside with his kids, his two sons, and Queen Latifah came up and she was talking with them, and Lil Wayne introduced Queen Latifah to his sons. She went to shake their hands and they remained seated. People did not like that. They thought the kids should have stood up. They thought that he should have stepped in to say, hey, no, stand up and greet, Queen Latifah. Do you think kids are too laxed with that? Should they stand up when they're meeting an elder? Should they give, firm handshakes and eye contact and all of that stuff? I'll ask you guys over in our chat. But, Andy, let's go ahead and get into the Raw Report.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Okay, so we are talking bodies today. We're talking body image. We're talking body dysmorphia. We're also talking Ozempic. Ozempic has come around and it has changed the game for a lot of people. Specifically, we're talking about Oprah, Beverly Johnson, and Tami Roman, who have all now talked in some way, shape, or form about their body, their challenges, their roller coaster when it comes to weight loss and things pertaining to their body. I think it should be a pretty good conversation. And I'm excited to speak to our contributor who is on the line with us today. She's not in studio, but she is on the line, and she'll be joining us when we come forward. So we're going to get this conversation cracked off on the other side. You are listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on The Raw Report.
You're inside The Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count.
Granddad, what's good?
Hey there, got us a quarter pounder with cheese and McNuggets.
Wow, haven't had our special McDonald's order in a minute.
Heard your little tic-tac-toe dance didn't get no likes.
Oh man, is Mom telling everybody?
You know she is.
There's a deal for every favorite grandson at McDonald's. Right now, get one favorite like a quarter pounder with cheese or 10-piece chicken McNuggets and get another for just $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Got me a damn girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley as the first black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show. Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DePrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside The Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
And of course, I want to go ahead and get started, but I love watching you guys. I want to shout all of you guys out inside of your of the poll here on our YouTube. So far, most of you guys are saying yes, kids should stand up. And when they're meeting or greeting their elders. Andy, you didn't look like you were too happy to see. I mean, are we nitpicking here? Because I feel like that's I think they should.
It's a little nitpicking.
But what shouldn't we nitpick though? Because little by little, all the generation they're headed downhill. They're not doing everything. They're losing standards. You don't feel like nitpicking is cool?
I mean,
sometimes.
I mean, it's cool sometimes, but I mean, who's to say that he's never stood up before? It might have been just one of those situations where, you know, he might have forgot. he probably doesn't know how big Queen Latifah is. I mean, I don't know. Like, let's cut him some slack. Give him some grace.
I'm not cutting no slack. No, I'm just playing.
And if it was the other way around.
If it were the other way, like Queen Latifah not standing up?
Yeah.
Okay,
if
well,
it was a kid or something, I mean, should we all stand up when greeting somebody?
No, it's about elders. It's about
elders.
respecting your elders, in my opinion. You know what? Let's ask our contributor. Let's go ahead and get our contributor on the line, who is usually here with us in studio. But please welcome our very talented and articulate entertainment contributor today, Stephanie O. Hello, Stephanie. How are you today?
Hey, Robin. I'm good. How are you?
You know, I am doing well. It is good to talk with you, and I'm very happy to be back on the show, number one, but I'm happy to be back in conversation with my contributors just like you, because these conversations, man, I feel like these are great conversations to have. I got to ask you, do you agree with most of who is voting here inside of our YouTube chat, or do you feel like Andy when it comes to children standing up to meet their elders, or are we nitpicking and just doing a little bit too much?
You know, I'm from the South, so, you know, I still carry some of the old school. You have to stand up when you're talking to your elders, you know, look them in the eye and all of that. I still tell my son to do the same. I still teach him to open doors, all those things, you know, like, you know, I don't... But you can't lose the recipes. There's certain things we gotta keep those, you know?
Yeah, very well said. I completely agree with you. I want to get to our phone call that we have from Forrest from Compton. Hey, Forrest, how are you today?
Hey, how you doing? This is Ayers.
Thank you.
You know, I teach my sons to, especially boys, to stand up, to open doors, you know, pump your mom's gas, the whole nine. And with my daughters, I open and close doors for them as well, so they know what to expect, so they won't bring home any thugged out trash to my house, talking about dating them.
Right.
And so my daughter, my youngest one, she's 17, I noticed that she went on a date not too long ago, and she stood by the door and looked at him. I was like, that's right. So it's what you teach them at an early age. And, you know, we have to definitely get back to that as well. You know, teaching our kids about chivalry. Some of them just don't know.
Yeah.
They just don't know.
Absolutely. There are some things that I believe we can and we should get a little bit more relaxed on when it comes to standards, but there are some things that we absolutely need to keep in terms of etiquette and in terms of respect. Certain things I never really understood, like, you know, taking your hat off when you come into a house. I mean, that was a rule in my grandparents' house. They're like, you need to take your jacket and your hat off, because I don't know if it made people feel uncomfortable. I don't know what that rule was about. But if I can understand the rule, such as, you know, no elbows on the table, I don't know why that's a rule, right? Is it just respect? Is it manners? I don't know. Some things I think we can be a little bit more laxed on. But when it comes to showing respect, looking in the eye, standing up, you know, being appropriate, I feel like those are things that we need to keep around. And so I agree with you, Forrest. I definitely salute to you. I know you said that you're an excellent father now, and it sounds like it, because the way you're raising your children, we salute you over here. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie, before we move on, I wanted to say this about Fahima, too. She says the lack of manners are of a reflection of how one is raised if they aren't being taught decorum. Okay, so you agree with that wholeheartedly, right?
I mean, I don't want to say it's the lack of manners is a reflection of how they're being raised, because, you know, you can raise a kid with manners and they just absolutely won't do it as adults, I guess. You know, they can just completely ignore that when they're adults. You know what I mean? But I will say that, you know, that's not going to stop me from teaching my child that these are the manners that, you know what I mean? So I am definitely going to continue to teach my child that he's going to do those things, and he's going to do those things when he's around me.
As you should.
No questions asked.
Okay, I feel you. I'm not even mad at you. I do think, though, that that's more of the exception to the rule than the rule itself. I think that more oftentimes, if you teach your kids and you raise your kids with manners and standards and things that they should do, I think that they will continue to adhere to those types of things that you taught them, most likely. Now, again, there are exceptions to every rule. Some kids are just going to be like, I don't care what my parents taught me to do. I'm doing something completely different.
Just rebellion.
Rebellion, yeah. So I guess it all depends. But nonetheless, I digress. I think them kids should have stood up. But okay. But I also love Queen Latifah. I'm like, show her some respect. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We are talking about bodies today and all the things and Black women specifically and all the body images and body dysmorphia. I came across an article recently where supermodel, I guess she's always going to be called supermodel even if she's not working currently anymore. But Beverly Johnson, she revealed at one point in the 70s, she was on a weekly cocaine, brown rice, and 2-egg diet. And she said that she did this to maintain her stick figure. And it took for her mother at one point to put her in front of a mirror and show her different angles of herself. And she said that she saw her bones looking back at her. How frightening. She said that once she would go, when she was modeling at the height of her career, she would go and looking, really, really frail and thin. The people in the modeling industry would be like, oh, yes, look at you, like you snatched and would compliment it and congratulate her and all the models for looking that thin. So that's something, obviously, that goes way back. But really scary, honestly, to think about weekly cocaine and who else was partaking in that. I used to work for another supermodel, Beverly Peel, as a matter of fact, and she would tell me some of the ways of the world and that industry and how it was back then and things that they had to do to maintain this standard. There's also Tami Roman, and I want to play a clip. This is not a new clip. She talked about this before, but it definitely applies to what we're talking about today. She talked about body dysmorphia, and I want to play that clip for just a little bit of that clip. And then, Stephanie, I want to have you chime in before we jump into Oprah, who's been battling, her body weight and her image and all that stuff for a long time. But I want to get into this Tami Roman clip, so let's go ahead and take a listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I seen a story. They were talking about Tami doesn't eat, right?
Right. I eat.
I've been on set with you.
Yeah.
And I see Tami eat. There's juices, there's food. I'm like, where is it coming from? Does that ever bother you? Because people would just make up their own stories, their own rumors. But me being on set, I'm like, no, she eats, and she eats a lot.
Yeah, I eat a lot. Well, the thing is, I have a condition that's called body dysmorphia. Mm-hmm. And I've had it since I was 13 years old. It is a mental disorder based on either trauma or genetics. And mine is trauma-based. And so what happens with that is the way I look at myself and the way people see me are two different things. Mm-hmm. And I always see myself, unfortunately, as, that show like My 600-Pound Life. No matter how I look to people, when I look at myself, I can always pick something apart. I always feel like I'm overweight. And so because of that, there are moments where it's like, I got to stop eating.
Yeah.
And then there are other moments where it's
I'm
like,
about to say, I think
I'm
every
hungry.
girl got body dysmorphia if that's the case, because you feel a certain way about yourself.
No, but this is like people. Different, because there can literally be nothing wrong, but I will find something wrong. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yeah.
Like I can find.
And that's a conversation. It's a longer clip than that, but. Just for the sake of our conversation, Stephanie, I wanted to have Tami explain it to in her own words so that we can discuss this. In your opinion, though, is that I look at what's going on in society right now, and right now it almost looks like the opposite is happening. It looks like the opposite, and I want to know from you, do you feel like all the BBLs and all the surgeries to enhance our bodies and different things like that is a form of body dysmorphia, like in the opposite way?
Oh, 1,000%. And I don't want to say it's body dysmorphia, but it's not all body dysmorphia, but it's all body image issues. I'll say. And the reason I'll say that is because body dysmorphia, in a sense, is you seeing a problem where there's not necessarily. And so a lot of people do go out and they do go get surgeries to enhance things where there isn't a problem. So they may want to get bigger where they don't necessarily need to get bigger, and then they cause a problem where they didn't necessarily have a problem, right? And that's what the body dysmorphia comes. Because you'll see like those people who overplump their lips, for example, and they're walking around with these super overdone lips, and it's like, why do you look like that? It's because they don't realize they just went too far. They went extreme with it, right? And that's the body dysmorphia side of it, rather than someone who is just like getting this work done. And it's like you were fine before, but, they just, just getting lots of work done. Yeah. So it's like, I think a lot of it is, there's a lot of body image issues, but then there's a lot of body image issues that, there's a lot of, how do I put it? Excuse me. There's a lot of body image issues, but they're not all body dysmorphia, but there are tons of body image issues. And it's like, I think a lot of it is amplified by the fact that we can see there's so much social media, so we can see so many people, and we can be so easily influenced by so much. And more than ever before, there's so much media, there's so much on TV, there's so many movies, there's so much content, and so there's so much to influence you to what to look like and what I like and what I don't what I don't like and what to wear. And
absolutely,
it's really bad.
It is. It's pretty bad. When we come forward, I still want to talk about this part of it and where that even comes from. Like you're mentioning some right now, social media and the ads and all that stuff, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. In previous times. We have, examples like Lil' Kim and Michael Jackson, people who had, it may have stemmed from a real place, but they went a little far with it, and just where does that come from and what we can do about it. And we still want to talk about Ozempic and how that changed the game, that entered the conversation and changed everything. We're going to talk more about that on the other side. Right now, news, traffic, and sports. You're listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at The Raw Report. Keep it live.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A federal jury is convicting 6 suspected gang members for murdering Chicago rapper FBG Duck, who is black, back in 2020. A jury found that the defendants conspired to murder Carlton Weekly in order to maintain an increase in their positions in the gang. Those who were convicted were found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and murder in aid of racketeering. Sentencing hearings are set for August and September. A new chapter began in New England on Wednesday. The Patriots officially introduced Jerod Mayo, who is black, as the 15th head coach in franchise history. Mayo was named the successor of Bill Belichick, who spent 24 seasons as the head coach, winning 6 Super Bowls with the team. Mayo also noted that it means a lot to him that he is the first black head coach in the history of the Patriots, saying if you don't see color, you can't see racism. That's the latest. I'm Tyreek Wynn on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Keeping you updated with the latest out of Pacoima's 118 West at San Fernando Road. A crash is continuing to be in 2 right lanes, but at some points, all lanes are temporarily stopped, with stop traffic coming from Glen Oaks Boulevard. In Santa Monica, on the 10 east before Centinela Avenue, an accident is currently on the right shoulder, with stop traffic coming from 20th Street for about 15-20 minutes. A crash is on the right shoulder at Baldwin Park's 10 east before the 605, with a 15-minute traffic jam coming from Eastern Avenue. And over in Cerritos, good news on the 91 east before the 605. An accident's been cleared, with a 25-minute delay in recovery running heavy from Avalon Boulevard.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Before you get ready to watch the NFL playoffs this weekend, there's a pretty good women's college basketball game to check out tonight. Number 6 USC is at Utah, a good chance to see one of the nation's rising stars. Freshman guard Juju Watkins, who grew up in Compton, is averaging 26.5 points and 3.6 assists. She's already won the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week award 9 times. Watkins is quickly becoming a box office attraction. 6 p.m. tip-off tonight on the Pac-12 network. Keep your radar up on this situation. USC offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Cliff Kingsbury has a meeting scheduled with the Chicago Bears, who are looking for an offensive coordinator. Kingsbury put a lot of time in with USC quarterback Caleb Williams. Williams is projected to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. The Bears have that pick. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying Black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Told I was beautiful. Look into the mirror, who's inside there? The one with the long hair. Same old me again today.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Top 1580. What a beautiful song. What a beautiful song. TLC. And if you are just joining us, welcome into our conversation on the Raw Report today on this happy Friday. We're talking about body images and body dysmorphia and what's happening in our society right now that's making people think that they're not good enough and that they need to change the very way that they look and that they present themselves to the world. And we're on the phone with our wonderful contributor of the day, Stephanie O. And Stephanie, we're in this conversation right now talking about, you know, who we can kind of pinpoint, right? Tami Roman is actually a great example. Not a lot of people know who Tami Roman is. She started out, most people know her as being on the show, The Basketball Wives show. She was married to an NBA player, former NBA player. And she wasn't heavy set or anything like that. I thought she looked normal. I thought she looked great how she was before. And after she left the show, she began acting and doing some other things and really went down that rabbit hole of body image. And she just admitted body dysmorphia, where she's lost so much weight, just completely unaware and oblivious of how she looked. And in fact, the clip that we just played, she went on to say that in her mind, when people are telling her, "Ooh, you're too skinny, Tami. We see your bones, Tami. You look like a bobblehead, Tami," she takes that as a compliment. She takes that as a compliment. That is, to me, the epitome of body dysmorphia. And Stephanie, we're talking about right now where those things come from and how we can change it, because, you know, we were talking about Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim, to me, is sort of the poster of body image. And I don't know if it's quite body dysmorphia. Usually we relate that to anorexia. Body dysmorphia, people who go, you know, they lose weight because they think they're too heavy set. The opposite, though, we're talking about how, you know, all of these surgeries and BBLs and plumped up lips and all that. Is Lil' Kim a pretty good example of what modern day society is going through when you know, with their bodies, in terms of how they look and how they present to the world, in your opinion?
I think Lil' Kim is definitely an example. I think she's an extreme example. And, you know, the crazy thing is, I would say she's an extreme example, but another example that I would say she's a less extreme example, but it's an example right in our faces, I would say is Kim Kardashian. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
If you notice, Kim Kardashian went through the BBL, curvy, big butt, big chest, all that. And then a year later, she's super slim, super skinny, like the really extreme, totally different body. And it's like just out of nowhere, you know, her and her entire family, just out of nowhere, this extreme body. And then, of course, now everybody else is doing this extreme change right after her. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, where did that come from? That's not coming from just a natural, I want to be, you know, a natural, I just happen to just, you know, get fit today type thing. It's just, you know, this is I'm doing entirely too much. You know, it's like Kylie Jenner, you know, you get your body done, your lips, your this, your that. You get all these curves and then decide one day I want to take everything out, get super Ozempic skinny. And it's like, it's too much. And it's very confusing.
A great segue to bring in Ozempic. You know, it's so interesting, the trend. And all it takes really is for one really influential person to begin that trend. That we can see. Kardashians are a great example. Pretty Brown Mimi, she says Khloe Kardashian too, which is true. You know, it's so interesting, the trend. You know, it went from you have to look really, really, really thin, frail thin, bones looking at you thin, like Beverly Johnson, to all of a sudden the new trend is curvaceous, and we need to see all the curves, and all these girls are enhancing what's already there. So they're trying to look even more curvier because that's what's appealing. And that came by way, really, it started with Kim Kardashian. She was really at the forefront of that trend. Then it was the Nicki Minaj, the Black Chynas, and so on and so forth. But now the trend is
That's the
becoming
thing.
really thin again, really thin. And don't get
And that's
me
not
wrong,
healthy if you think about
it's not
it.
healthy at all. And don't get me wrong, Ozempic, although it's actually for medical purposes, it had become a trend for people who are overweight. That's what it's typically used for. Women and men who are overweight and they needed help losing weight. It helps control the hormones. It helps control your appetite and all that type of thing. However, when people started hearing about the benefits of Ozempic, they took it too far. Speaking of that, Jillian Michaels, if you're familiar with her, she is a guru in the workout world. She's got a ton of things under her belt in terms of exercising, and this is her story. This is her life that she leads for many, many years. She went on an entire rant. We won't play the whole thing, but she's talking about Ozempic and the cons of using Ozempic, which I don't think a lot of people are thinking about long term. People just want to lose the weight super quickly. And she actually pinpoints Oprah, because if you remember, Oprah recently talked about Ozempic, and we can clearly see Oprah is losing a lot of weight. She's on Ozempic. There are other people who are losing weight right along with her. Ava DuVernay is another. But I want to hear this clip from Jillian Michaels, who goes on this entire rant, and she does not believe in Ozempic at all. Let's take a listen to it.
Problem with this, right, is that you can never get off these drugs. If you do get off of them, all of the meta-analysis show us that you will gain all the weight back and then some, 2/3 of it within the first year. But now you've messed up your metabolism, you've lost muscle, you might be running the risk of all these side effects. So you're going to gain it back and then some and have lingering side effects. On top of that, let's say you're like, no, I'm staying on it forever. Really? Google Ozempic plateau. You will plateau on Ozempic. It will stop working. Right around the 18-month to 2-year mark, it's going to stop working. Now what are you going to do? Because now you're literally beholden to it. It's expensive. Insurance isn't going to cover it forever. Are you going to be on it forever? So we don't even know what this looks like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. The two good things that have come out of this, in my opinion, are it has
scary to think about. Jillian Michaels, she targets Oprah specifically. She talks about all these celebrities who are using Ozempic, and she says they're not health experts. She is one. But she also talks about the fact that Oprah is utilizing this as a financial gain. I don't know how she might be tied to this, but we know from the past Oprah has collaborated and partnered up with Weight Watchers and a few other things, in fact. And so I don't know what she's got going on with Ozempic, but that's true. What do you think about this new Ozempic trend and how it could affect people in the long run?
I will say this, as far as Ozempic, I think a lot of people don't do their research before they just dive into it. I think a lot of people just get it and overdo it and just don't stop, and they just keep going and keep going and keep going. They don't think about the medication as it is. They all come with side effects. They all come with risks, and a lot of people don't think about that before they just dive in, and they see losing weight and they don't think about it. I tried Ozempic for 2 months, and I was just like, I'm done. I went one whole day not eating, and I was like, oh yeah, nah.
So it was effective for
like,
you?
No. It was too effective. It was too effective. I was like, I had to force myself to eat because there's no way I'm going a whole day not eating. That was absolutely not. So it was too effective, and I was like, absolutely not. And so
that's interesting, Stephanie. I'm actually curious, though. I mean, and thank you for sharing this. I love the transparency. Thank you for that. I'm curious because were you someone who also said, you know what, I'm hearing about all the benefits of this in terms of weight loss. Let me jump on this sort of trend, or let me jump on it because I've heard about it. Was that your stance?
Well, for me, I'll say that I struggle with my weight pretty much since I had my son. So 20 years, I struggle with my weight going up and down, a lot of it being genetics. everybody, all the women in my family are pretty, I'm not going to say heavy, but they're heavier than me. So genetics, I'm fighting DNA every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fighting against DNA every day. So a lot of times, so I did want to try it because a lot of it is a matter, for me, it's curbing cravings. I have a bad cravings. So a lot of it is curbing cravings for me. So I was like, okay, let me try this to see if this works. I tried it for 2 months with 2 shots, and it was way too effective for me. One, it was expensive, but I got it for a discount, but it was just way too effective. I was not eating at all. And that was just, I felt that it was not healthy to not eat.
Let me
I would
ask
rather
you,
diet.
Yeah, right.
than
Go
not eat.
about it the natural way. Just on a on a real level, Stephanie, just real talk. If Black women who have traditionally, if you look back historically, Black women are it. We are the blueprint. Why don't we believe that we are good enough as we are? Why are we always following a trend or creating a new trend when it comes to how we look? Like, I remember the good old days. I remember thinking, when I say the good old days, I'm talking about 90s. And the only reason why I pinpoint the 90s is because you had the Halleys, you had Aaliyah, you had Robin Givens, you had all these beautiful, stunning women who were naturally themselves. I mean, even if you had a little bit more curvaceous, like I don't even know who else to pinpoint, but you had natural women when it came to their faces. We didn't add anything to ourselves. We just were what we were, and we loved it. We loved it. We loved the image back then. What is it today? Why do we have this problem accepting our image as we are?
That is a great question, and I feel that there's so much pressure these days on whether we are enough, I feel. I think that there's just not enough representation as far as women who look like us, who are just, put out there, and it's like, that's enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Stephanie, this is what I want to do, because we're both pondering on this question. I feel like that's a heavy one, and I really want to get to it on the other side. If I can hold you for just a few more moments, we're going to continue this conversation on the other side. It's just too important. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
City of Los Angeles landlords that own rent-controlled properties, starting February 1st, you'll be able to increase rents by 4% for your rent-controlled properties. An extra 1% per utility, up to 6%, can be added only if you pay the entire gas and electric bill. And don't forget to give your tenant an advance 30-day written notice for rent increases of less than 10%. It is state law. Learn more about the rent increase at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
If we're the ones disproportionately impacted by these climate catastrophes,
Why should we be silent?
turning up the volume all year long on the climate conversation for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Rob Report. With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
We're having a great conversation with entertainment contributor Stephanie, who's on the phone with us today. And on the other side, I asked you about why we as Black women can't accept the fact that we are beautiful as is, and why can't we wrap our minds around that when I feel like we're the blueprint, when I feel like we've always been beautiful, we don't need to do anything more. Little enhancements are fine. You were talking on the other side about your answer. You can go ahead and continue, Stephanie.
Oh, it's a hard question to answer, honestly. I just feel like there's just a lot of inner work that needs to be done. I feel like it takes a lot of self-esteem. I think Black people as a whole have self-esteem issues that we got to work on. And it's just a lot of inner healing that we have to do as a people, that it's just going to take a lot. And just, it's so hard to say. But I think it's going to take a lot from what I would love to see and what I've always wanted to do. And, it's never too late for me to start doing it. So I should stop saying what I want to do and actually get up and do it. Is start mentoring young women and young girls, high school girls, middle school girls, and talking to them about self-worth and beauty and understanding that these things that they're seeing on social media, TV, movies, those things are not real. Those things are not important. Those things change every day. The thoughts and the words that are coming out of boys' mouths today mean absolutely nothing.
Can I add to that, though? You're absolutely right, Stephanie. You are on a roll. Let me add to that. This one is so big and it's so important. Family, your family needs to understand, and this comes from way back. This dates further back than what I even know. Your family has a tendency to look at the little ones in the family. Someone just had a baby and we're watching this baby grow up into a toddler, into a preteen, a teenager, a young woman, young man, or whatever. And the family tends to make remarks about these kids. They would say things like, oh, you need to stop eating so much, or girl, you ain't got no meat on your bones, and they think they're saying things out of love or saying things because they can. They're your family and they do love you, but they're making these comments that will stick with the people, they're this young one forever. And it begins to give them some sort of complex when they get older. They know they're on the thinner side because their family told them their whole life. So you mix that with going out into society and letting society tell you that your beauty isn't real beauty in comparison to. So I wanted to add that one in there. I think we as when we think about our community, our family, we need to get the hang of that. Really keeping those remarks to yourself. That's a whole word right there. That's a mic drop moment, by the way. Yeah, no, 100%.
1,000%.
Now, let me ask.
It really takes time to I'm sorry.
You go. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we should really take time and opportunity instead of doing that is to tell our daughters, tell our sons how beautiful, how handsome they are.
That's a word. That
rather
is
than
absolutely
critiquing them. Tell them that how great and wonderful, how smart, how give them affirmations, and I promise you that'll work wonders for their self-esteem.
Absolutely. The affirmations, talking to your kids, not only about we just need a whole master class on the proper ways to talk to our kids. We were talking about generational curses and breaking generational curses a couple of times this week. That goes hand in hand with me talking about how to affirm your children and prepare them for going out into society, that they are enough. Beauty, mind, soul, intelligence, all of the above. Andy?
I think it's also important to critically discuss what kids see on TV, because that's definitely influential. Like, you see a Kim Kardashian, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that.
Absolutely. And I want these people to know that your image and body doesn't equate to happiness. It doesn't equate just because you see these people with these bodies and whatnot and what looks like they have money and this and that and the other. It doesn't equate to happiness. Such a great conversation, Stephanie, and it's over so soon. But
I know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having another conversation with you in the very, very near future. Can you let everybody know where they could find you online?
As usual, you can always find me at 118 on Instagram, Twitter, and everywhere else, Facebook, all that.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining me today, and enjoy your weekend, Stephanie.
Thank you. You too.
All right, you guys, it has been a lovely conversation. And yes, part 2, I agree with you. Pretty Brown Mimi says this, the body image conversation, we need to continue it. Houston, Texas says, don't let this topic go. Bring in Dr. Sabi's daughter to talk more, to bring more light also. I agree with you. We are not done when it comes to health and wellness and our community and intertwining it with the entertainment business, of course, because that is what we do here. I think we need to continue these very, very important conversations. So I appreciate y'all, Raw Squad. I appreciate all of you who have tuned in today and for the week, as a matter of fact. I want you all to have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. You know we're going to be right back at it on Monday. You know how we get down. Well, it's Friday. That means the best of Zoe Williams is coming up next. The voice of Zoe, or the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. You guys remember, today and every day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A federal jury is convicting 6 suspected gang members for murdering Chicago rapper FBG Duck, who is black, back in 2020. A jury found that the defendants conspired to murder Carlton Weekly in order to maintain an increase in their positions in the gang. Those who were convicted were found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and murder in aid of racketeering. Sentencing hearings are set for August and September. A new chapter began in New England.